previously unseen crash in the gravel for Andrea Baggioli in the Saudi Tour. It was recorded by the helicopter. We'll get into that and more in this highlight of Saudi Tour Stage 1 sprint stage, although we do have a couple of climbing stages, especially tomorrow in stage 4, but this one was a sprint finishing Winter Park, 200 Ks, and it had like a 10-12K gravel section with about 20 Ks to go to the finish. Caleb Ewan, big favourite for the stage. Bennett not attending, despite Mullen and Coe being here. There's also Gaviria, Groenewegen's here for Bike Exchange, his first outing for the team. The GOAT, Leonard Kamna, is back. Rui Costa and Baggioli would be contenders for GC. Baggioli, if you don't know, young Italian, just extended, I think, with Quick Step. Super fast in a slight uphill drag, or even steeper like Cuillera in the Vuelta last year. But it started off, and as I said, there wasn't footage. If you're trying to watch this live today, I don't think the plane they use, listen, I'm not an engineer or tech expert, it happened in the Giro last year, but they need a plane to relay the signal or something from the motorbikes. Apparently the plane mustn't have got permission to go up in the air. I don't know. But the footage got recorded locally, obviously to the helicopter, because I don't think a motorbike can get this angle of the peloton, but they're taking it pretty easy. It looked like Lotto with Ewan, as I said, heavy favourite for the stage, and they brought their A-tier sprint train, which we're going to talk about a lot in this video. They were controlling the stage. And I want to mention, by the way, Valenciana starts tomorrow. I don't have image rights for that race, but I will be covering it on the Lanterne Rouge Cycling Podcast because Evenepoel is going every single stage. So go check that out in the pinned comment down below. We just brought in a new title sponsor. A lot's been happening. I can't believe the season is already here. I'm back. Did you miss me? Maybe, maybe not. What do you think of the new Total Energy kits with the red S-Works combo? And by the way, this is the break. These poor guys went in the flat stage break. No chance of winning the stage, and there was no footage of those three guys. But anyway, choo-choo train time. They hit the gravel. It's a little bit sketchy in parts, and this is where the Andrea Baggioli crash happens. And sometimes, I mean, they talk about not being enough respect in the peloton. I don't know what happened here. Maybe people didn't want to take their hands off the bars, but barely anyone except Late pointed out this rock, which we're going to freeze frame in a second. Baggioli, I think, hits that rock. His bike then cannons away. But see top right of the screen? Whatever that is, it's a problem. And no one, the Quickstep guy on the right, I don't think points it out. The DSM maybe guy on the left doesn't say anything. Someone deeper does, but Baggioli, I don't know how the Lotto guys missed it. Baggioli's front wheel clips it. He's gone and goes down pretty hard. He loses 20 minutes on the stage. His GC obviously gone. Apparently Quickstep said he's okay. They're just assessing him, and he might continue tomorrow. And then his bike careens over to the left and causes a bit of a lighter crash, although still not ideal to go down for guys on the left-hand side. So a shame for Baggioli, who had a knee injury at the start of last year and then came in the Vuelta and was really, really good, and I think came second or third behind Court in one of the breakaway wins. So not a great start for him. But if he's fine, is not too banged up, he's a big favourite for tomorrow's stage, which I'll talk about a little bit at the end of this video. And it's surprising amount of traffic furniture, like a gravel highway. They've got these cones, got these things that look like kangaroos jumping over them. And there were a few attacks too from the likes of Daniel Oss, who's part of the Sagan entourage. So he's gone over to Total Energy. He's marked by a Bora Hansgrohe rider who, as I said, they don't have Bennett here, but they got Jordi Meus as well as Martin Lars. I didn't actually know which of the two they would go for in the sprint. They also have Uterbrooks, the young, like 19-year-old neo-pro who's very, very highly touted. But yeah, you see Daniel Oss, second wheel for Total, chasing a Bahrain rider, maybe Fred Wright. I don't know if Fred Wright, he might be a low-key contender for tomorrow's stage, 1.687%. I'm not sure. It might be a little bit too hard for him. He's good in British national champs. But the break was cool. I think Mirza went as well for UAE Team Emirates, but that got brought back as well. So it was sprint train time, and you see Welsford, new signing for DSM, the Australian on the left, getting a little bit involved. Alpecin Phoenix, they were riding for Simon De Haes. This kid is like 20 years old. He's on their development team, and he'd eventually top 10 this sprint. And he came, I think, third when he was like 18, 19 years old, behind Marit and Meus in the Belgian Under-23 National Championships. So he's definitely one to watch out for, and Alpecin know how to develop and identify Belgian sprint talents. Look at Philipsen, Merlier. Well, Philipsen was on UAE, but Merlier, I mean, that was an incredible pickup. But now into the sprint, and we haven't seen Lotto Soudal at the front at all, and I want to just highlight it right here. This is what Alpecin Phoenix and Quickstep did so well in the major races last year, which is coming up late with your train at 1600, 1500 meters to go, hitting the front with 3 lead-out men plus your sprinter. Whereas Bike Exchange had been on the front earlier, they have 2 men for Groenewegen, who moves up and then he makes contact with the second to last Lotto man, loses a few spots. That's his sprint done. 1600, 1500 meters to go. Groenewegen's already done because he's now got 1 man left and is about to get pinched. And can someone, Drisners or whoever, let me know? Whoever is the second last man for Lotto Soudal here does an incredible job ahead of Jasper de Boist. I don't know if it's Zerlig or Jared Drisners. Now, Lotto have a new sprint coach, I think, in Alan Davis, the Australian, who was a good sprinter himself back in the day. And they've identified they need to have a better train for Caleb than they did last year. And so this second last man drops off. You just see on the B&B rider's wheel, he allows De Boist to go onto that wheel and sit there. He doesn't leave them in the wind. And we now have about 350 meters to go. De Boist opens up through this sweeping right-hand bend. You see, geez, it's only 175 meters to go. And you already know what's going to happen. If Caleb Ewan gets this type of service, gets this type of delivery with having to sprint for 7 seconds, you can't beat him. He provides little to no draft behind him. He's not had to expend almost any energy, a little bit, but not too much in the lead up to this. He's brought up smoothly in the last 2 kilometers, and then it's just curtains if you drop him off to the front with 7 seconds to the finish. The big question is, can Lotto Soudal do this in the big races against the A-tier Quick-Step train? Because they don't have that here. There's no Mercu. There was Van Leerberger last wheel. UAE were a shambles once again with Gross and Gaviria. That's the big question, but looking good for Caleb Ewan and Lotto Soudal in their first attempt of the season.
Yeah, obviously there's no better way to start the season than with a win. So, yeah, I'm super happy with that, but I'm super happy with how the team performed. I really got delivered perfectly. I think I only had to sprint for 100 meters. I think we have the strongest sprint team here for sure, and yeah, it's a bit of a new lead out with Rudy Seeley coming in and also Jared Drisner. So they did a great job to just come into the team straight away and integrate and deliver me perfectly like that.
Here's the top 10 for the stage. Caleb Ewan winning by 2 bike lengths ahead of Martin Last. Good sprint for the Estonian on Bora Hansgrohe, then Gaviria de Boist. The lead-up man 4th, kind of like Mercu for Cavendish on like his last stage win in the Tour last year. Then Bonifacio Gross, Dares, Ballerini, Lecroc and Consoni. And Groenewegen, as I said, did not come in the top 10 of this sprint. Tomorrow's stage looks like a puncher's delight. We have a 1600 meters, 7.5% hilltop finish. We don't have the premium punchers here, but I'm hoping Baggioli's okay, because he is lethal on a finish like this. Otherwise, we have the likes of Rui Costa, but 2 French guys I want to see on Cofidis, talented guys. Maybe it's too hard for them. Maybe they're better on the flat sprints. Renard and Axel Zingel, just watch out for them. Maybe they'll do something on the finish tomorrow. But I hope you enjoyed the video. Make sure you check out the Lanterne Rouge Cycling Podcast tomorrow for our Valenciana coverage, and I'll see you with the highlights of Stage 2 tomorrow. Ciao.